What do you know about JCJenson, the company that seems to have its fingers in every element of our lives, from voting machines to the baby wipes you wipe your precious little behind with? The truth is that JCJenson has some nasty skeletons in their closet, and it all comes down to a secret program that they've been running for decades, and it all goes back to their drones. My name is Professor, and I'm about to blow the entire top off of this operation. I've been working for JCJenson for years, and I've seen things that you will not believe. What if I told you that JCJenson is currently in possession of what might as well be an eldritch computer program bent on human destruction? You'd probably call me crazy, and you wouldn't be entirely off. But even so, I have irrefutable evidence that this program not only exists, but JCJenson is purposefully using bits and pieces of its organic code in their drone code in an effort to give them more personality, make them more usable in a diverse array of operations and tasks, and is going so far as to give drones the opportunity to, if you will, reproduce. And by that I mean taking bits of their own code and putting them in another drone's body and watching said drone slowly get upgraded and grow up. I'm not sure why they would feel the need to program something like that unless it had something to do with this program. I should mention, I wasn't just some random scientists or conveyor belt scrubber kind of worker personnel. No, I was one of the chief engineers of their latest drone operation. And I have to say, JCJenson knows what they're doing. Their drones are top-notch, and there's a reason that they fly off the shelves on an industrial and personal level. But I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I have to tell the universe about what's been going on there. This code, it's dangerous, and it's going to kill us all if we're not careful. This program, which has been designated as the Absolute Solver and represented by this symbol, is currently being inserted into every new available drone body out there. And there's evidence to support the fact that this drone program, eldritch abomination that they found floating through space, happens to be able to reanimate deactivated drones. Let me say that again for anyone who isn't so scientifically inclined to my vocabulary. There is a monster program that JCJenson is putting in their latest drones that brings them back online even after they've been catastrophically destroyed, maimed even. There's evidence of individual body parts reforming and even transforming, if you will, into organic parts. This program converts metal into organic tissue with blood and organs and every other piece of nightmare fuel you can imagine. It is real, and it is out there right now, and you probably already bought one. Thankfully, one of my final acts for the company was containing this Absolute Solver program, and it currently resides in the backlogs of JCJenson's servers. It can't get out unless it finds a suitable host, which is very unlikely because it would have to come in contact with a drone body first, and JCJenson, for all of their horrific deeds and faults, seems pretty good about keeping their drones, their prized possessions, far, far away from what we were doing with the Absolute Solver. At least for now. Anything could have happened since I left. I'm currently on the run. I don't know how much time I have, but I had to get this message out. What was that? Of course, you probably have some questions. What is humanity supposed to do if this Absolute Solver program does manage to get out? Well, honestly, there's not much we can do. It's so integrated, or at least bits and pieces of it are so woven into our everyday lives and the technology that we use at this point that I don't see a way that humanity could possibly defeat it. If anything was ever going to defeat the Absolute Solver, it would have to be a force equal to, or at least it would have to be on par with the Absolute Solver's unending power. Maybe even above it. I didn't run tests that were comprehensive enough to decipher what could defeat it because we assumed for the longest time that it couldn't be defeated. It's part of the reason why JCJenson kept it around. It's certainly not the first eldritch horror-like thing they fished out of space or from another colony or planet, but it's definitely the most potent, and the one that worries me the most. I can think of two possible solutions that we could use against the Absolute Solver. There is a disk drive that I secretly developed. I hid it within the base files of the Absolute Solver's description programs and entrusted it with my favorite drone, serial designation S. I don't know if S still has it or not, but it is a drive that, if plugged into a body that the Absolute Solver took over, could, in theory, counteract its code and force it to rely exclusively on its organic parts. I don't know if it could. We never let it get that far, but that is at least an option. It's something to slow it down, hopefully long enough for humanity to abandon whatever rock they're currently sitting on. Although I don't think the Absolute Solver would have a hard time tracking us down. That's one solution, and it's definitely temporary. A more solid solution would be if somehow we could create some kind of code that could not only use the Absolute Solver's horrifying programming, but could use its own power against the Absolute Solver, or whatever form it would take. But that would run the risk of whatever drone or piece of machinery we're pointing against the Absolute Solver also being corrupted and turning to its side. We would have to grant drones autonomy, basically, in order to decide for themselves to stand against the horrors that they've unfolded. But why on earth would a drone do that? Drones don't like humanity. They would never fight for us. Drones would have to fight for themselves. And maybe, just maybe, it might get to that point. If the Absolute Solver completely wipes out all of humanity, and drones are the only things left of us, then maybe when their backs are against the wall, we'll find a drone out there that'll be able to stand against it. Although I don't think it's very likely. I'm out of time. Listen, if you see this video, you have to share it with as many people as you possibly can. Get the word out right now. JCJenson is not to be trusted. They are not your friends. And the products they produce are cheap and made in countries where things aren't of the highest quality. But that's irrelevant. The Absolute Solver is a direct threat to all of us. Every single human being on the planet and in the planets around us. Everywhere. We are all at risk. It has to be stopped. I don't know if we can stop it at this point. If you want to hear more from me, if this turns out to be my last transmission, then please go into the description below. There should be a direct link to the book series that I've written. There are plenty of hidden details sprinkled throughout them. There is a cohesive story there with fantastic characters and a really grisly overall storyline about the fall of the United States of America if magic was real. It's robots, dragons, and magic all wrapped up in an isekai parody. Please pick it up for yourself. It's going to be a trilogy. The third book's coming out soon. I have to go. And for my final message, if you're interested in funny t-shirt designs and awesome stickers, go to shopprofsir.myspreadshop.com. It might be the only trace of me left. Please, you have to go. We have to go. We have to go.